critical information for today. So on Monday, we did a 1.5 hour class. We had a blast. I had a blast. And from the feedback, other people did too, so that's good. But I had a lot more on my agenda to cover than we got covered. So we had already planned to do a 3-day live class, so we can really dig in a little more. And we're telling people, go ahead, and if you safely can do this, like you're in a protected environment and you can manage the dog and so on, you can bring your dog to this class. And we will do some live training sessions. And we'll work on the skills directly. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to train your dog. That's up to you. And you are the expert in safety in your case. You know the dog, you know the situation, you know your own skill level. All that's up to you. So I'm not directing your training. What I will do is I'll explain what I do. And then I can also help by providing some bridging and name and explain, because, go figure, especially professional dog trainers, we've been told for so long not to talk to dogs, and it's really hard to change that habit. But when you do, the payoffs are immense. So I encourage you, come try this and see what you think. If you want to see videos of, other SATs training, so you might remember the rhino that we taught to allow us to flush the abscess under his horn. So where can you go to see that? It's in alia.com/press. And you scroll down. Let me put that in there. Scroll down for video. All right, there's a lot of things you can see. And I encourage you to be skeptical. I was, but I do have video there of all kinds of things. So, the thing with the rhino, training a crab in real time, you get to watch it. A wolf. And that wolf, that was so interesting. There were 2 wolves, and this is just one of them, and we had 40 different behaviors that we wanted to impart to this wolf. And we got most of them covered. Now, do we get them all finished? No, you can't do it all in a single training session. Don't you think it's pretty good to do 40 things in one meeting? And I love this video. I have a little bit of titles on it. I tend not to explain my videos because you really need to watch them. I'm not talking about for 23 seconds. I get it. But please consider that in my videos, I don't explain them, but I show you everything there is to see. So you've got to invest some time and energy. But come on, the animal gets it. And you are the superior being, right? So it takes focus. I often say that the rarest attributes in trainers these days are observation skills and discernment. And it's because those things take effort to develop. And I get a kick out of the classes because, people will complain, like many of you might. I don't blame you. These videos are no good at all. You don't even explain anything. Is the animal getting it? Is the training happening? Do you recognize that? If the animal gets it without explanation or any more explanation than is given, but then as people go through the class, they'll come back and they say, you know, actually your videos are better than I remember. La 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 la. Well, that's our progression, right? It's more meaningful as you gain more information. But let me just say that I have been doing this for a long time, decades, more than 2 decades, more than 3 decades. I've worked with over 120 species of animals. Now here's what I've noticed. They're all the same. I mean, they're different. They have different sensitivities and different abilities and different behaviors, but they all learn the same, and they all learn just as fast. My crab learned as fast as the dolphins I worked with, as fast as the monkeys. Now, I'm not saying that I could teach a crab to, perform calculus. I'm not saying you couldn't either. In fact, there's an interesting book by Keith Devlin. I think it's called The Math Instinct. Gosh, I'm sorry. I wish I remembered for sure. Anyway, he talks about the fact, for all you dog trainers, that all dogs do calculus as a matter of course. That when a dog has to get a frisbee in the water, he's going to catch a frisbee that gets thrown into the water, especially at the beach, right? So he's got to run out into the water, and to intercept that frisbee, he has to figure out how his trajectory, his speed, the wind, the water, the waves are all going to interact. Now, my dog King, the Wonder Dog, was fantastic at catching frisbees at the beach in the water, even if he had to swim out to get to them. And so he must have been a good mathematician, right? Okay. So the main reason I am here right now is to make sure everybody has access to this link. So the link that I posted is for the 3-day class that starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And this will go for 2 hours, okay? And we are going to start with name and explain, then bridging. So if you kind of have been wondering, what the heck is this? How is this different than a clicker? Why do you choose one thing versus the other? We'll try to cover as much of that as possible. But more to the point, I want to give you a chance to try it out with feedback, because it is my hope that you will leave this empowered to incorporate some of these tools in your training, because I guarantee you it is going to speed up your training. It's going to change your training if you do. This isn't my big conclusion. This is what I get told by the professional trainers. In fact, let me tell you one story. I worked with a brilliant dog named Mishka. And she was a world-class criminal. She wanted to attack, eat people, dogs, puppies, kittens, rabbits. Equal opportunity. And she was very strategic and calculating about it. So if you know about perception modification, and perception modification is where we change the way an animal looks at something. So if you know about that, you know that an animal that started out being afraid of something will often become eager to do that thing. And an animal that started out lusting for something will often learn to moderate their own behavior. And you got that right, moderate their own behavior. So anyway, with Mishka, she had a brilliant owner, just resourceful and smart, and and very dedicated. And, I recall a bunch of very prominent trainers had told her she had too much dog for her. They had offered to take this world-class dog off her hands. How kind of them. So I had enough dogs, and we were working together at a seminar, and then continued to work together for a little bit. And a little bit was so packed with adventure, but really only 3 weeks. And the first thing we did is make sure Mishka had put behind her tendency to be aggressive toward people and dogs. That happened the first week. And one of the things that we did is we conspired together to find an avocation for Mishka, because everybody needs a job. Everybody came to this life to make a contribution. Dogs, just same as people. So after careful consideration, the owner decided to do search and recovery. Well, search and recovery is demanding not only in the training skills that you have to impart on the dog, but also the operation environment that you're working in. Not just for the dog, but also for the owner. So this game woman was up for this challenge. So we started Mishka. We got some cadaver sign and started doing the work. And within the first week, we were able to go to a public beach and bury the cadaver sample under 2 feet of water and 1 foot of sand. So it was like a shallow tidal pool, but we didn't just sit it in the water where the dog might be able to see it. Buried it underneath the sand in this pool. That dog was on it. She was so passionate about using her nose. And she was just, you could not distract her after that. She didn't care any longer if a puppy went by or, a child went by in a stroller or anything like that. She was all about her job. I remember even somebody tried to tempt her with a chicken, but she wasn't having any of it. So what happened next? Well, of course, there's all the skills that are involved in that job, but I also really felt that if a dog was going to work in the Florida swamp, they needed to be prepared. They needed some safety training. So what's in the Florida swamp that you might want to worry about or teach your dog about? Well, we didn't do everything, like we didn't do quicksand, but there was enough to do anyway. How about rattlesnakes and other poisonous snakes? And gopher tortoises, because gopher tortoises are protected by law. And if your dog gets curious and sticks its nose into a gopher tortoise bungalow, you could get a really hefty fine. That is a no-no. But even more interesting is the fact that rattlesnakes like to bunk up with gopher tortoises. So we had to teach her to respect and leave gopher tortoises alone. Cane toads. If a dog licks a cane toad, it's not good for the dog. So we had to do that. We did bears, rats, mountain lions, and alligators. Alligators was really interesting because we worked with a great reptile wholesaler, and we took Mishka into the facility and introduced her to a bunch of baby alligators. And she was all about that. She's like, whoa, I could grab those. I could, dispatch those. And I'm telling her, nope, that's dangerous. You need to understand this is dangerous. Why? Because Mama Alligator is babysitting. Hello. You think she leaves these little rascals out by themselves? Come on. So, could not really get through to this pup about the danger of the alligators. So the owner said, well, I have a bigger alligator here. Let's go out back and meet this other alligator. He's pretty big. So we go out, and he had a 4-foot tub, like so. And I mean, that's definitely bigger than the little babies, but it's not very big. And all you could see is the nostrils and the eyes of this alligator sticking up above the water. So I introduced Mishka to this alligator, and I told her, this is an alligator, this is dangerous. And I started to show her what you do when you meet an alligator, because you got to have a plan. You have to have a plan what to do. So let's think about that for a minute. What's the plan for a snake? Stop, fade back, go around over 6 feet away. Take me with you. Okay? What's the plan for an alligator? Get the heck out of Dodge and take me with you. Okay? So, different responses according to the kind of animal it was. So I'm trying to show this to this dog, and the dog's like, whatever, you're boring me. And I see the entrepreneur that owned the reptile wholesale. I see the owner looking thoughtful. He says, let me try this. And he climbs up on a ladder at the back of the alligator exhibit. And then he takes this bamboo pole. It was really soft and springy, We're not talking jousting here. We're talking more like tickling. And he goes, okay, get ready. And all of a sudden, he tickled the alligator from behind. The alligator leaped out of the pool straight at us. That alligator had been totally curled around. It was only a 4-foot tub. The alligator was 8 feet long. How could that happen? Spoiler alert, if you're in Florida, be careful when you go on the golf courts and all that, golf courses and all those things. Because you see a little puddle, you would be surprised at how big the alligators may be in those places. I was surprised. Well, the dog was surprised. She nearly broke my knees when she exploded backwards. And she wasn't trying to take me anyplace. She was trying to get the heck right through me and push me right back up against the walls. And then she shoots me and looked like, what's wrong with you? We need to get out of here. And so we left. And I said, that's what I'm talking about when I said they're dangerous. And the dog's like, I can't believe you took me back there. And now we're approaching the front of the building again. And I thought, this would be a good time to take her back in with the baby alligator so that I can link them. These are also alligators. You saw the big alligator, the lurching, hissing, leaping alligator, and now these are baby alligators, but there's a leaping, hissing, striking alligator somewhere nearby. And I said to her, okay, are you ready to go back in and see the baby alligators again? And she said, are you nuts? Let's get the heck out of here. So we did. We did. And it is amazing because she did learn to look at alligators differently, more cautiously. She loved to chase rabbits. And we set up the opportunity, her owner set up the opportunity for us to go to a rabbit breeding facility. And by the end of our training session, this dog was working off lead, surrounded by 20 free-ranging rabbits. This is the dog that previously was a sucker to chase a rabbit. Now, you know what's best of all? That's what happened. Those adventures are just a few of the things that happened in the 3 weeks that we worked together. What happened after that is this, plucky, tough owner joined an organization that helped train dogs to be search and recovery dogs. And the average time for a dog to get certified was 2 years of training and practice, going out on events and so on. This lay owner, she was not a professional trainer, this lay owner working with this, club or organization got Mishka certified for search and recovery in 2 months. Just 2 months. That is astonishing. And you know what? I'm hearing similar things from people that are using SATs to teach assistance dogs. Really anything. It's pretty interesting to me how much faster it is. And then the question is, why is it faster? Well, that's one of the things we'll look at tomorrow. Okay, so if you get a chance, if you're interested in this, come join this class. No replays, okay? This is one-time opportunity. We're going to see how far we can get. And I'm told it's intense, but probably not for you. I'm sure that you will find everything low-key. Okay, folks, thank you so much, and I hope to see you. Take care.